it seems like a while since we missed Easter. Yeah, it seems like a while. Yeah. You get an insight timer ready there, Mr. Bro?
Just registering every movement that I do. It's the first time. I don't know if I like doors. I believe I do. But it's the first time. No one is happy, but I would just like to share that it's the first time that we come in with this 108 days.
Nice.
Consecutive.
But you've meditated.
Wow.
Yeah.
Congratulations, Mr. Bro.
Different kinds of meditations.
But they all count.
They all count. I don't register lots of them, but
Yeah.
at least once a time
Mm.
I put something there.
Oh, that's nice.
It's a specious number to be shared with you.
So on Friday, I met with Dee Dee. Most of you know Dee Dee. Have you met? Do you know who Dee Dee is? Yeah. You probably don't know Dee Dee. She moved to Squamish, but she was sort of one of the founding members of the community in a way. Years ago, really beautiful lady. But she works at Pacifica. It's a, what would you call that place? It's a recovery center? A treatment center. Yeah. So she runs a mindfulness group there. So every Friday she goes there, and for an hour she sits, and the people that are in there, they're obligated to go. So they're recovering addicts, right? So they're detoxing, or they would have detoxed to a certain point. Yeah.
You have to be 4 days clean before you can even enter that treatment.
Oh, okay.
center.
Okay. So I went and I sat in the class with her because I might take over there for her because she's leaving. And there's probably 20 or 15, 20 people in there, and they're all very young, and they're all addicted to something. Is it just addiction in general there?
Well, I think drugs and alcohol.
Drugs and alcohol.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're all very young. There was one woman there that was, I think, in her 60s probably, but they're all really young, and they're there, and a lot of them have trouble concentrating, but they're very sensitive to you can do Dee Dee's leading it through stuff, and they're responding, and they're recovering addicts, and I was just thinking that as I watched them and as I was listening to Dee Dee and as she talked about the word recovery, because they don't like to use the word addict, right? We're all in recovery, or we're in recovery, and they just happen to be suffering in a certain kind of way and recovering in a certain kind of way, and I thought everyone is, though. Everyone's recovering from something. From something. And how it is that mindfulness, just awareness, lucidity, is so powerful to actually recover, to actually look at what comes up in the mind, what comes up in the body and the mind, that motivates us and triggers us all day long, every day, things that, there's things that we see during the day that we're not neutral about. And it's like, why? Because we're recovering from something. We're recovering from some past shock or something like that, or recovering. And if you want to talk karma, we're recovering from our own karma. If you want to go down Buddhist lane, everyone's recovering, and then and so the thoughts can get really dark. Because lots of people in there, if they go just a little quieter, stuff happens. They just get angry. They're overcome with anger, or they start twitching. They just can't. It's too much. It's too much awareness, because the pain, the mental strain and the pain is too much to bear. So it's easier to keep the head spinning. And I think that's our challenge as people who are meditating and turning inward, and waking up. Because we can't really actually become anything that we aren't already. That's the crazy thing. Like, anything that we could become would have to end. It couldn't last. You may have the sensation of changing, or but the deep, awake, divine, unknowable you is there. It is. It just is. And often I think people suffer from a cloud of thought that tells them otherwise. So it's very hard to simply be. It's to fall back into your presence, because there's so many other things that are saying something different. So many other things that are saying that I am not this. I must do something. I must become something. I must work at this. I must work at that. But your essence is stillness. Your essence, the experiencer, already is awake. And the more we can touch into that, I mean, really in the ultimate way, that's when your heart begins to break. And your heart begins to open, and you soften and see the innate kindness, the innate innocence, the innate kindness that is in everyone. Because you have it, you are it. And so discovering your true nature, step by step, day by day, meditation by meditation, is opening to that compassion, is opening to that presence. and all your life is taking you there. Everything you're doing is taking you, no matter what you're doing, it's taking you there. And sometimes it's painful. So let's do meditation. Let's begin by using the sound of this bowl tune into the sound. Let your body relax into the sound, that your mind become very present. tune into the absence of the sound. Notice the physical sensations in your body, the resonant echo of the sound. Now tune into the center of your head. If there's a space there, a tiny point perhaps. And that this size of this place is relative. It could be a giant space or it could be a tiny space. But tuning into that center, stay focused there, that still point. Absence of sound there as we once again experience the vibration and the sound as we're focusing on that center of the head. shift the focus to the heart. If it helps, you can visualize that still point, or that light that is unmoving. It just is. And that it also is in the heart. If it helps, you can visualize moving it from like the center of the head back down the back body and resting in the heart. Or maybe you could also see that between the heart and the center of the head, there's a channel, but it's not like anything needs to move between the center of the head and the heart. It's that there's an open channel. And if you look, it's like they're the same. They're made of the same thing. But the experience of it is different in a different location. Just like your awake self will be the same awake self, but you will experience it in relation to wherever you're at in a different way. If you're at home, or if you're at work, or if you're in the head, or if you're in the heart. And now, like the sound fills you, experience it from the heart center. Relate to it from there. Still point, awake in the heart. light of stillness, luminescent awake, luminescent aware. Aware of what? Whatever you see in the horizon of your mind, whatever sound you hear, whatever thought that is a sound. That will be your world. That will be your universe. The one that you specifically experience. All we can really do is change our capacity to know in relation to this luminous awareness that always was and always will be. All outside phenomena will always change. Will be attached to a different truth. Your presence fill you. Move into the horizon of your mind. Like the divine is within you, apprehending all it sees. The me that you think you are, being apprehended by the divine that is within you. The timelessness that is within you. See that in each of the people that are in the room. And as you do that, recognize that your perception of them is your perception of them. Perfect as it is. And that it is how you see them, and no one else can see them quite like that. And And so they are your reflection. Another color, another expression, another voice. And like this one light that is within you, filling you, experience it expanding and connecting with everyone else. And then onward out into the building and into the city, all the countless beings that are here. And then every single one you happen to lay your eyes upon will be a reflection. Because it has to be that way. But we can see the inner beauty. The longing for happiness. The longing for rest. The longing for peace. The innocence, the child. The untouched part of each one of us. Alive and joyous. Just as before we bring the meditation to a close, try and use that sense of timelessness or awakeness, awake the now within you. Anything that's bothering you, any problem that you may think you have, completely infiltrated with this light. Get a sense of relaxation with it. No more changing thing. So more coming back to your center or yourself as we open our eyes, but slowly. Feeling your presence. so easy to get lost in the small details. Have you noticed yourself being able to relate to situations and other people differently from your experience of touching in with an inner being or inner light, inner stillness? Anybody want to say anything about that? Have you noticed anything different? Yeah.
Yeah, for sure. There's many different kinds of techniques. You talked about triggers earlier.
Yeah.
There's lots of different techniques, and something I struggled with a lot way early on.
Mm-hmm.
Not so much now, but since meditation, there's a difference between touching into the quiet and the spirit than it is to take a breath and settle down.
Mm-hmm.
Do you know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And so it was like able to be in a different state immediately without actually having to think about being there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
'Cause
so
it's-
it was really good.
Yeah, it's
Mindful
within us.
techniques, Yeah.
Yeah. Now, over the years, I've personally found many situations where, people are being very frantic. Situations are getting hairy, and then, you just, without words, without trying to really calm anybody down, you're just listening. You're just there, and you can really take the charge out of a situation simply by being that, or tuning more into that yourself, and the other being that's there will automatically, because you're sort of tuning into your resonance, will automatically be affected by the vibration of your resonance. It's just how it happens, and you don't have to, and it's better if you don't say anything, because who the hell wants you to, who wants that? It's better if you don't say anything, and maybe I don't know what. Yeah.
I found it definitely helped me at work a lot, like
Yeah.
dealing with people for sure. Over 5 years ago, I was very keen to excel and climb and be really, I don't know, get the top sort of thing. But I realized that was counterproductive because I was trying too hard, not letting other people shine, like that sort of thing. But now I think just patience and just having patience and being able to not say something when silence is the best response. Like those sorts of things really go a long way now. So, like sometimes, like when somebody says something that might be mean or something like that, instead of responding, just like listening to them, and then they kind of hear themselves and what they just said.
Yeah.
And then they, backtrack or something like that, rather than me like kind of taking my guns out too and firing back.
Right. Right. We all have our guns. Nice. And if I look back at my life, I always found like the most powerful, times I remember with anyone, if I was ever, I don't know, freaked out, it's always just been that. It hasn't never been a lecture. It's never been like, well, I know this or that. It was more just someone just came to me with their heartfelt presence, and just to calm me down, and I remember one time I was doing concrete, and I was the scapegoat from this one foreman for a while. He would, you know, jump from scapegoat to scapegoat, and I was the scapegoat for probably a good 2 months. And he would yell at me all the time. And this one day, I remember he just lost it on me about something. And I knew it was something that it wasn't my fault. And one of the workers came up to me and just stood in front of me, didn't say anything, and just put his hands on my shoulders and just looked at me and just stood there and pushed down on my shoulders. It was amazing. And it just kind of brought the whole thing into a new perspective, you know. And there's other time I was in Edmonton, I was working, and it was just a crazy time, and jobs were really frantic, and at that time I really, you can't really climb very far in concrete. It's not like a corporate ladder like Sharon's world. But you can sure try. You can sure try to be the hero. So, I had that disease. I had that fever. And people know when you have that, and I remember it was one day, and who knows what I was doing or how I was behaving, but this one guy came up to me, a Spanish guy. He says, I'm always like this. And I looked at him and he goes, I'm always just like this. I just could not make any sense of that, because I was so not that. And he just said it about 4 times. Yeah, I'm just like this. All the time. And that's all he said to me, and I think that's all he ever said to me. I don't even know his name. But that was powerful teaching right there. And I didn't get it. I think maybe 4 years later I got that teaching. I'm like, oh, that's what he meant. Because none of us are those things. That's why it works. That's why it works. Because if you happen to be the one that is the calm one of the bunch, then you happen to be the one that is in touch with that in that moment. But everyone has that, so it's easy to then affect everyone else's because everyone has it. They've just gone off the handle for a second. And that's how, it's not each thing that we're drawn to in life, each task or each job or each passion, we're drawn that way for a reason. We're drawn there for a reason. We don't even need to know why, but we're there amongst those people. And maybe it's never about, like Sharon was saying, accomplishing what's there to be accomplished, what the brochure is. Maybe it's never about that. Maybe it's, here's one more avenue where we can wake up and be a light in, or we can try and get all the things and be one of delay waking up by doing that. Anyway, let's have a break. When?
You're not gonna slap the dog.
Saturday morning? Friday morning?